How many times as a small business owner have you received a contract, an agreement, a non-to-compete, something you signed up for a service and you have to consult with your attorney? Now that's the best way to do it. But sometimes it's best to be able to use ChatGPT, set some agent instructions, and get the best possible advice before you reach out to your attorney and really have a laser-focused consultation for your attorney. This can happen with a lease, with a non-to-compete, with a business agreement. So in this video, I want to show you how to set that up right. Even if you are a complete beginner in ChatGPT, I'll show you how to prompt it, how to ask questions naturally, how to get the right agent instructions so you have the best analysis of the agreement that you're looking at. We're looking at a lease. We're also going to look at a lawsuit that I have from 2012. So it's a pretty complex document that we'll be able to look at, and also an NDA with a non-compete. So tag along. And if you're a complete beginner and have a small business and looking for small ways to implement AI, this is your sign. Okay, so this is the first analysis that we're going to do on a legal document. In this case, it's a lawsuit from almost 10 years ago in which Benefit has a trademark infringement towards Hardy Girl Inc. What we're going to do is act as if we were Hardy Girl and we were receiving this Benefit trademark infringement lawsuit. So now let's go and let's do a prompt here. I just received a lawsuit for trademark infringement. What is the type of attorney that I need? So that first is going to create the perfect description of the attorney that we need, in fact, for this case. So in the meantime, we're going to open a new project. We're going to call it Benefit Litigation. And then here, we're going to create agent instructions. The type of attorney that we need is an intellectual property attorney. Great. So here's the exact person that we need, the attorney. So now let's prompt it again. I'm going to create a project in ChatGPT. Please give me agent instructions that will act as the attorney described above. Okay, so that's going to give us a pretty good agent instruction, and we're going to be able to paste that here. Anything that we put in that particular project, it's going to have the instruction to act there, act in that capacity for a trademark infringement attorney. Here is the role that we're going to copy: analyze capabilities and constraints, style and formatting, disclaimers, and we're going to copy this. And this never replaces your attorney, just gives you a better sense on how to organize it, summarize it, understand it, and then give your attorney the right summary to begin something and have a quick way to analyze it and get moving forward fast. So back to the litigation folder, we already gave it the instructions. I guess we can add the files. I have it here. It's gonna give it a chance to upload. So once again, what we are adding is this first document here, which is 14 pages. We are going to X out of here, and we are now going to prompt it. I just received this litigation letter. Please give me a summary, pros and cons of this case, and the best next steps for me to defend myself. So now we're going to give it that prompt. Let's send it so we can get a summary of where we stand. Here it is, the summary of the litigation, federal trademark infringement, some key facts alleged, pros for your defense, cons and risks, best next steps for defense. Great. These are all very, very good takeaways from reviewing that document. Here's a whole defensive strategy outline that ChatGPT is even offering to create, which I think is great. Yes, let's create a strategy outline. Okay, so let's put yes. And also, let's prompt it a couple other things. Create an email for my partner at a high level explaining what is going on and what are our options. And then create a summary for my IP attorney so he understands what this is about. And I'll also include the PDF with the trademark infringement lawsuit. So let's do some good takeaways. I think that pretty much wraps up how we analyze this document, how we get the takeaways. And of course, we copy paste that out of here, and we're able to put it in our own documents in your Google Drive, wherever you might need it. But just in a few minutes, I believe that's just under 5 minutes, you have been able to identify at a high level and understand what are the next steps, rather than going through this cold turkey, having to read it and spend the time to try to decipher it because it is in legal jargon, or start from scratch and having to spend 1 or 2 hours of your attorney fees for him to just decipher this, and you to try to get a summary of it. And it could take days before you know that. In this case, we knew it in 5 minutes. So here's the final results from ChatGPT. I think it's great. And now we move on to the next example. Here's the next example that we're going to run through ChatGPT to get a summary and know exactly where we stand within minutes. In this particular document, we're looking at a commercial lease, and this is from 2012. And let's go ahead and start by doing some basic prompting to figure out how our agent instructions are going to craft. So let's go with the first prompt. I have a commercial building lease agreement that I need to review. What is the correct attorney or professional to be able to help me complete this task? So first, we're going to prompt it to give us who in the real world would give us help with this type of task. Then we're going to create a new project and we're going to call it lease review. Once we open the lease review, we are going to add the instructions. We're going to go back here and we're going to need a real estate attorney, best for legal protection, commercial leasing attorney, commercial real estate broker, CPA, or financial advisor. Perfect. Let's go to the next prompt. The next prompt is the following. I am creating a project in ChatGPT and I need agent instructions to help me create a summary of the lease using the specializations that you have above. So this is kind of a 4-in-1 agent instructions because we have 4 different type of professionals to be able to review a lease because so many areas are existing in these type of agreements and so many legal clauses and areas to which they need to be reviewed. Here are the agent instructions for commercial lease review and summary. Here's giving it to me in a markdown format. We're going to take that, we're going to put into the agent instructions. Then we're going to take this and we're going to download it, the benefit lease. Then we're going to go back here and add the files. Here's the benefit lease. Let's see if we can do it a little bit differently here. Let's add it from photos, files, desktop, benefit lease. See if we access out. We might get this red message again if it's scan, but let's give it a second try. And it looks like it is accepting it through the chat. So that should be okay. So let's see. Here's your commercial lease summary. Now, remember, I didn't have to prompt anything. I just had to put the PDF there because based on the agent instructions, it knows how to act. So it's looking at these agent instructions that we pasted from here. Here's the key facts, the parties, the agreements, legal review, some fast things that you can do that are also very useful. Create a table of payments. Create the table here in ChatGPT that show monthly, yearly, and for the existence of the lease. Okay, so that should create a table with all the information that I just requested. And then we'll probably want to prompt it a couple more things. From a legal standpoint and as somebody who's going to be signing this lease, what are the most important facts that I should be covering myself, my assets on a personal facility and also a professional or commercial point of view. They don't have to be perfect, your prompts. Just get it out, say as much as you can, be as detailed as you can in your natural language. Even if it's an idea that you have not completely grasped, just explain it as much as you can. Sometimes I feel silly by the way that I ask, but ChatGPT does a really good job of figuring out what you need. So moving back here, it has created a table that we can download and it's on a yearly basis. We can craft this on a monthly basis. And here it is. So somebody's going to signing this lease on a personal facility and also a professional commercial point of view. Okay, so I don't think that is in the best possible format, but let's see what we get here. So here's the personal guarantee, consideration, risk, benefit, long-term commitment. Okay, wonderful. So you get a chance to, at a high level, understand the factors, consideration, risk, benefit for everything. Here's the professional and commercial perspective, overall strategic advice before signing. So you can do other very useful things. Write an email to my partner explaining what type of lease this is and a PDF summary that I'm going to attach that you're going to create that has exactly a summary of a detailed summary of this lease so we can archive it and it's the information that's factual on this particular project. So we are killing a couple of birds with one stone there of being able to write that email, craft it, and then write a summary for this. I think that just about wraps up on how we can do the analysis on this type of business lease. So let's see what we're able to get here. So here's the PDF with the benefit lease summary. And here's the email that is put together summarizing that PDF to my partner, the benefit lease summary. So that works pretty well with being able to summarize the lease and understand it and be able to do it in just a few minutes. So moving on to the next example, which is an NDA. Okay, here's an NDA, a non-disclosure, non-compete agreement that we're going to review. This particular document is 7 pages. Okay, so we're going to run through that. And in this particular one, just to give you some context, this is a chocolate project that we had, and we were in Lucky's Markets. We had a organic and a non-conventional line, as you can see it here in the middle. And this was a very, very awesome project, and we were manufacturing, or we were formulating the chocolate in Peru using cacao beans from Peru, just an organic line. It was kosher, and we were expanding. We had a lot of demos in Lucky's Markets, but unfortunately, Lucky's Markets closed, and our whole strategy was in Lucky's Market. So unfortunately, the project didn't work out. If you were to want to open a chocolate project, call me. I'll tell you all the mistakes that you don't want to make. So moving on to the NDA, this particular one is for one of the consultants that we were working with at the time. Let's go ahead and start a new project here. I have an NDA that has been sent to me by a consultant. What kind of attorney is ideal to review this type of document? Let's start with that first. As who do we need to find in the real world to help us with this? And next, we're going to create a new project. That new project, we're going to call it NDA review. We're going to close this, and we're going to go look back here with a business attorney or corporate attorney, contract attorney, IP attorney. Wonderful. Here is the next prompt. I'm creating a project in ChatGPT. Give me agent instructions to reflect the profession that you have instructed above. By prompting that, we will get a pretty good agent instruction on that professional that ChatGPT is recommending. So here are the agent instructions. So let's open up the agent instructions. Let's start copying. Objectives when responding, highlight clauses, style and tone, limitation and disclaimers. You're not acting as attorney. Copy that. We're going to paste it. We're going to save it. Then we're going to go back to this document. We're going to download this on our desktop where I dump everything. And we're going to go back here and desktop. Here it is. And recall that we have agent instructions. We don't need to tell it anything but submit that. Let's go ahead and submit that and understand what we're dealing with in this NDA. Key point and risk, overly broad definition of confidential information, non-compete language embedded in DNA. Okay, duration, one-sided obligations, suggested revisions for fairness. Can you give me a table of the pros and cons of the current situation, and then give me a second table with a proposal in which you give me better suggestions based on the revisions for fairness? So I always like to put it into a table to understand it and be able to summarize it on a high level. Really helps when you put it in a table. So let's see what it's able to produce here. I typically don't like when it does tables and throws it in Excel. I like crafting it within here, but let's see what we're able to get. It did do it on an Excel. Typically when it does that, I say, give me the table here within ChatGPT, not Excel. Okay, let's prompt it that. That's something I could add in the agent instructions, so it always does it here. So here's the pros and the cons of the current NDA. Here's a proposed fair NDA, potential trade-offs. So I think that's a pretty good summarization of where we stand with that document and what we can do. That really helps us. That really cuts a lot of time of having to review this or sending it to an attorney, and especially this NDA, because this NDA, I don't think you need to send to an attorney to review in case when you're recrafting it, you're not able to use ChatGPT or you want to go a couple of more steps. But on a high level, when you're signing an NDA, I think the information that we're able to obtain from these takeaways are enough for us to kind of craft it and find a median ground and get to an NDA signature on both sides. That makes sense. So that is the last and third review for how to use ChatGPT on your small business and be able to summarize things very fast. That's it for today. My name is Andy Suarez, and I'm here to remind you that if you are a small business and you have not yet started to adopt AI, this is your calling. Make sure you look in the description, that you click on the first link and you download the business document that I put together that gives you a clear path on how to download ChatGPT, how to set up your projects just like we have on this video. You can provide that to your employee, your assistant, your CTO, whoever it may be. And make sure that you hit the subscribe button so you can get the next on what small businesses need on AI. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.